Hello, hello. I was gonna say good morning, but,
It's not.
it's not morning. I don't know where we are in the day at this point. Um, Socialization. See, I can do it. That's what we're gonna talk about today. We are going to talk about
That's a big that's like the elephant in the room.
that's the big one. That's it's so funny because it's the one that we get asked a lot about, and it's also the one that kind of, sends us all around a bend at the same time, right? We're like, as soon as somebody goes socialization, we all go, "For goodness sake."
But it's a very real concern, especially for a new homeschool family that they don't know the homeschool community
Right?
and they don't know I mean, 20 years ago, yes, socialization would have been an issue, but we've come a long way from where I mean, when I started, we didn't even have Facebook, there wasn't social media. There were just starting to be chat rooms or forums. So that's I'm okay. I'm that old, people. I am really that old. Um, so I'm like, so it's a real concern. I don't want to ever make people feel like it's
But
not.
there's something that you say that
Yes,
really brings it home
I may
because
even made a point on it. I made a
yes,
banner. Socialization begins at birth, and it has nothing to do with school choice. We are social animals. We begin to socialize with our mother from birth. We socialize with our siblings and our parents and our grandparents. A toddler socializes when he goes and runs errands with his mom. So socialization really isn't a school issue. And that's what I think people need to understand. You can be socialized no matter what your school. I mean, there's some we always talk about, there's the kid in public school that isn't socialized. I'm like, so
yeah, I mean, I went to public school, for all of my
yeah,
entire career, and,
I was too.
we all remember the kids that weren't,
Yeah,
as social as others. I've always been a very social person. I've always been,
I
an
wasn't.
extreme extrovert. Um, Ooh, I'm
I
always
was
talking.
very, very introverted and very shy. I
And
know
it's just
you were
it
shocked.
yeah, well, and it just goes to show though, like the school situation, and you even did more schooling than me. You have, more college than
Yeah,
I do. I do have some college, but I think you have more college than me.
yeah. I graduated. Yeah,
You've been to, other countries. You've
yeah,
been, to had some amazing experiences, and, and you've done all that, um in a
yeah,
completely different coming from a completely different standpoint.
yeah,
I've homeschooled 3 kids, and I have one that's very antisocial, one that's very social, and then one
yeah.
that's I'm trying to figure out. I would have told you he didn't love to talk to people, but man, you put him in the right situation and he will
Yeah,
talk
you
to
put him where his
anybody.
zone is, and you get a whole different kid. I'm
Well,
like,
and the thing is too, Justin, who's my youngest, he's never been to public school. Never been
yeah,
to, a public school or a private school. He's
and
only
he's
been
definitely been
homeschooled.
socialized.
He's had plenty of social opportunities, but the big thing is that I think people forget when it comes to homeschool socializing is the vast age differences. So
Yeah,
my son has best friends, he's 14. He has best friends that are 17. He has
yeah.
best friends that are 16. He has best friends that are 14. He has a best friend that is 12. Um, and
So there's a
that's not
wide range, and you're not like locked into one age and one grade.
which means he's getting such different viewpoints on life. He's getting different conversations. He's getting
Yeah,
different, perspectives, different interests because the 16, 17-year olds, their shows might be a little bit different. They might be a little bit, the games that they play might be a little bit different. Um, and the same thing was for my girls. When my girls were homeschooling, they had a wide swath
yeah,
of things, but they also interact with a lot of adults on a
yeah.
much
Which
more
I love.
which with a much smaller ratio. So they're working with, when we're going on field trips, there's parents. Everybody's parents are everywhere, right? And
Yeah,
so it's not weird for a child to come up and start talking to you about something, and you talk to them, and and you move on about your day. That's very normal. The interactions with adults at the museums, it's a much smaller
Mhm.
ratio of kids. You're not dealing with 800 field trip kids, you're dealing with maybe 40.
Yeah,
The kids are much more likely to get their questions answered. They're much more likely to be able to stand off to the side and talk to somebody at the place. It's things like that they really get these one-on-one experiences with people of all ages. I'll tell you another experience of ours, grandparents.
oh
You
my
know,
gosh,
we
I
brought
love that.
it's a big part of my adventure group. As I say, your membership includes grandparents. Please bring them with you. We did so much while my grandpa was here. Um, and the kids getting to go do things with him and see things from his perspective, and his history and his conversations and the way he talks, the words he used, the way he took his hat off at the dinner table, no matter what, mannerisms, all of that comes to being
Yeah,
social, that they wouldn't have had if they'd spent so much time in a classroom.
yeah.
They got so much more time with him.
Well, I mean,
So,
I often tell my own kids that when I was growing up, I was public school. My brother and sister were public, and then they went to private, and then my sister homeschooled. I had no relationship with them until I married and they married. We barely saw each other. So I'm like, I think that's one of the benefits of homeschooling that I didn't realize we would have is the relationship I see between my kids because they're socializing with each other. So
and that was the biggest shock when I pulled my girls. I would have told you when I pulled them, I had a great relationship with my kids. We went and did things on the weekends. We hung out. We did all kind of stuff. We talked. Um, I was shocked at how much more and deeper and
yeah,
better our relationship became, and their relationship with each other, because they would get off. I would be so excited to pick them up from school, and they would get off the bus, and the energy was almost exploding out of their eyeballs, and so they would start bickering almost from the time they got in the
yeah,
car.
because they're
And it,
exhausted.
well, and because they sit and they have to, and they behaved all day long for 7 hours. They sat still and behaved, and so you know, being able to have that time, so much more time with each other, really,
Hmm.
I mean, their relationship so close. And it's not to say that you cannot have good relationships with your children and
No, well,
siblings,
yeah, no. I just think
but
it gives a depth that you don't realize that you can have.
with it being a concern for so many people when it comes to homeschooling, that the social thing is going to be a problem. What we have found is not only is
It
it
has
not a
not.
problem, it's actually such a bonus, such a
Yeah, I just feel like
plus.
I, I mean, when I talk, people will come and say, "Oh my God, your kids are so." I mean, my post lady is so happy with my kids. She like raves about Cole. Cole's almost 21 now. Just raves about how kind he is and how nice he is and how wonderful he is. And the girls,
And
she'll
he
talk
is. He's
about,
all those
yeah,
wonderful
he's
things.
all
He
those
is.
things. I think so anyway. He's mine. But I'm like, I just feel like with this, the socialization is not going to be the issue that you think. Now, you might have a problem if you stay at home and never do anything.
Yeah. Now
But
that is a very
even
important point.
then, yeah.
That
But
when
you can be,
you
I just
decide to
think you can make it
homeschool,
so well rounded.
it does become an onus on you to make sure that you are getting out, that
Doing
you
things.
are doing things. It is very easy to be home for a few days and just be like, or we could just stay home in our pajamas and we could just do that. It is easy to slip into that. So you definitely need to make sure, um, it is going to take a little bit more work on your part to
Yeah.
get out and do
And finding what fits. Our community, we have a strong community and we have a busy community. But if you don't find something that fits your family, organize it. You're the mama. You are made to organize and multitask.
and that's what South Alabama's for. I know I have had people ask me, if they can plan things almost like, because I have the adventure group, maybe they get a little bit nervous that I will be offended in some way if they plan something or something like that. Absolutely not. If you want to plan something,
Plan it.
please. That's what South Alabama homeschooling is for.
Yeah.
It's a central point for information and for people to do this sort of thing. The only thing that I ask is if you plan something, you follow it through all the way to the end. That's
Yeah.
it. When I first started planning things, people told me that there were places that would not work with me because we were homeschoolers, because homeschoolers do have a bit of a reputation for not showing up for things
Yeah.
um,
So
that they set
follow
up.
through.
The follow through. That's the only thing that I ask. If I find out that people are not following through, then we might have to have some conversations. But if you plan something, you got to show up. You got to
Well,
follow it all the way
I'll be
through.
quite honest. I've homeschooled 18 years. You've homeschooled what?
11.
11?
Mm-hmm.
We've worked really, really hard to have these things. These things were not here in place when I started 18 years ago. They were not here. Erin has done a huge amount of work to make sure we have a positive reputation. So yes, plan the things, but follow through. But so socializations, let's just talk about some of the things we have going on in the
Yeah,
community.
because you don't have to plan a lot of things. So
You
the
don't have to.
planning
We
of
have
the things
so much going on
we
that you might
probably
not
don't.
need to. I'm not saying you have to.
Yeah. So
We have Erin's Gulf Coast Adventures, Homeschool
yes.
Adventures. I want to
Yep.
say that. Paid
Thank
group,
you. Thank
tons
you.
of stuff going on there.
I planned 74 field trips last year, so we go all over the
All over
place.
the place.
So that is an option. That is
That
a
is an
cost. There is
option.
a membership
There's
fee
some
for that.
cost. You can ask her later.
Um,
She'll tell you about it.
yeah.
Mock Robotics is another one.
And they go to state every year.
Every
That
year they
program, the
place
people who are
high.
passing that on, every time they pass it on to the next group,
There is
they
some
put it
cost.
to
I mean,
standard.
most of these will have some cost. There'll be some free somewhere. I mean, you can find something that works. What else have we got?
We've got the skating every other Friday. Dreamland
Skating.
Skate Center does skating,
Yeah,
and if you're in across the bay, there's a skating rink that does it once a month over across the bay.
yeah.
Then we have bowling. There's bowling on
Bowling
Wednesdays.
on Wednesday. We have multiple co-ops.
Yep, many co-ops. We have all of our holiday parties. So we
Yeah,
do
we
a
have the
trunk or
holiday.
treat in well,
Trunk or treat.
we do Spirit Week in
Spirit
September.
Week in
Spirit Week in
September.
September. Trunk
Trunk
or
or
treat in
treat.
October.
Christmas
Thanksgiving,
party.
Christmas
Thanksgiving party.
party.
Christmas party.
Valentine's. We do Valentine's,
Valentine's.
and we will be bringing
Easter.
back the Easter egg hunt. We did the Easter egg hunt for the first time 2 years ago. The Easter egg hunt requires a little bit more cost on the front end for me, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of a fundraiser somewhere along the way to get more Easter eggs, because I thought 2,000 Easter eggs would be plenty. 2,000 Easter eggs was not enough Easter eggs for the number of kids who showed up. We had that many kids show up, so
Oh my
we do need to
gosh.
get some more Easter eggs. Yeah, so we have all those holiday parties. Then we have the fair.
Proms.
Well, we
Yeah.
have we'll go to dances. You want to do dances first? We
Dances.
have
Yeah,
all
we
the
got
dances.
dances and proms and
Gulf Coast Teen Group just started about 2 years ago, and they are fantastic. They're actually based in Mississippi, so it's a little bit of a drive, but it's really not that bad. I think it's like 35 minutes from me in Mobile. But they do, if your child wants to be on a dance committee and things like that. They did an 80s dance, they did a homecoming dance, they did a prom, they did a masquerade dance, I think. And they've got a whole lineup coming up for next year
oh wow.
too. And then some of the co-ops do dances. I know
Mhm.
ECA does dances.
ECA, Compass Point will have
Compass
some.
Point does dances. And several of the other ones do little things, banquets and
Yeah.
things like that. Oh, there was something I was gonna say right before you said dances. What was I saying?
I don't know. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I should have written it down. But we have all of these things
Geography fair and the
for
history
the
fair.
fairs. That's what it was, the fairs. So the science fair is happening over in Daphne. Science fair is, I have a thought just flashed through my head. Science fair is happening over in Daphne and or over there somewhere on that side of the bay. It might actually be a little bit further. We are doing a history fair this year We do geography fairs some years, and these are,
You kind of
price
switch
of
them
board.
out and swap
Yeah,
them.
kind of switch them out and that kind of stuff. Um, the thing is to keep in mind, if you have to travel just a little bit, there might be a reason for that. With the science fair, I'm not a big science fair person. That's just not my thing. And but Stephanie, who runs Baldwin County Homeschoolers, loves it. That's her thing. She is so
Mhm.
excited. Her and Sybil put that on. And
They
they
do a
love
great
it.
job.
They do a fantastic job. They bring in the news media. They have prizes. It's so much fun. I know they'd love to have even more participation. Um, so yeah, you might have to drive 35, 40 minutes um, to get there. Same with the dances. But when you've got, um, you know, leaders doing,
Yeah,
this many leaders doing for
if
that
that's
many
your
people,
thing, then it's
it,
important to drive.
and it's important then, or like Devin said before, step up to plan it. I'm
Yeah.
definitely here to talk to when it comes to planning things.
Oh,
I
yeah,
have planned the
I'm
dances.
always available to brainstorm.
I have planned the dances. I have planned the fairs. I have planned the field trips. I have planned the things. So I am more than happy to have conversations with you if you're like, man, I just really do not want to drive across the bay. I am willing to put in the work to have this.
Yeah,
That's how I got started. I got started doing all of the things I was doing because I wanted certain things, certain ways
yeah,
in a certain area. So I planned them that way. Oh, you know what else we have? We have the University of Mobile Co-op.
yes. We
We
have
have the
we
and
have
we're actually
a
working with
lot
them,
of good stuff.
yeah, we're actually working with them this year to bring back COVID paused a few
Many, many
things.
things.
Um, Bless us, Devin and I were wall to wall for 2 years with answering so many questions and doing so many things, different and new and coming up with new ways to do old things so that you still had the resources. Anyway, so we're finally getting back to normal-ish. And so I'm excited that I talked to Dr. Burnett at the University of Mobile, and we're looking to bring back some of the stuff that we did before outside of the co-op, maybe some of the picnics, some of the homeschool, baseball game, picnics. I said picnics. Maybe some of the elementary school workshops. We're working to
Mhm.
see if we can bring back some of the elementary school workshops. So that's some more stuff. There's more stuff. And then there's also, if you don't mind a trip over to Mississippi, they do some programs for preschoolers and the smaller kids at the Pascagoula Audubon Center. Um,
Cool.
the the aquarium over there does homeschool programs. The
Yeah.
the downtown, it's downtown. The
Exploria?
Science Center. Yeah, the Explorium does the preschool classes still. So if you've got little
Yeah,
kids, there's a bunch of
they
preschool
used to have
programs.
homeschool labs. Maybe they'll start bringing those
I
back.
was gonna give them a call about that. I am gonna give them a call about that. The History Museum of Mobile does learning lunches once a month. They're free.
Mhm.
You can bring
Those are
your lunch and
great.
go eat. Fantastic speakers, great, especially for older kids. That's a great freebie thing to do with older kids. Um, Yeah, so there's
Lots
more
to do.
coming. We've been talking to a guy, a new homeschool dad who is doing cornhole games, cornhole teams and games and
Mm.
wanting to set up kind of like a league for that. And yeah, so that's another thing. And
Yeah,
he's already
there are music lessons. I mean,
oh yeah, so
there's
many of
so
our kids
many
are in
things.
plays.
Yeah,
The
the
playhouse in the
theater.
park,
Yeah.
packed. Okay, so we have playhouse in the park, we've got packed, we've got the one at Azalea City Music, which is
I can't remember the name of that one.
can't remember the name of it, but it's at Azalea City Music. If you go to Azalea
Yeah.
City Music, you can look that one up. Sunnyside, the Sunnyside. Um, ECA has a thing with
Drama.
Melissa, who's super
Yeah.
sweet. Melissa's very sweet.
Yeah. So
Um,
there's lots and lots of things to do.
so many.
Just because you don't see it, ask. We can tell you if it's there or not or where to find it.
Now, what we should warn you, look, this ended up being as long as the last one. We thought this one was going to be so quick. Is the biggest mistake that most new homeschoolers make when it comes to socialization, Evan knows this too, is we go, oh my gosh, we're not going to socialize, so we have to do all of the things, all of the things, all of the things. And within your first year, you were so burnt out because you have signed up
for everything.
There's so many cool things and you want to do all of them.
I learned really quick because what will happen is you'll be out every day and you will not have time to do school.
Exactly.
You have to actually do school sometimes. So balance. It's all about balance. And I learned really quick to I made like a guideline. We would not do any field trips unless it went along with our curriculum that year. I had to. I mean, I have five. I
Yeah.
had to cut that down. Or it was something that was really, I mean, and they're extracurricular. It had to be something they were really involved in, or something that they wanted to have for their life goal. So I'm like, I found ways to narrow it down.
Definitely pick how that will help you narrow things down, is to pick
Yeah, you
that.
can
Those are
make
great
your own
options.
guide.
They
You don't
have
have to
to be
pick
those things.
mine.
I chose not to do co-ops for years and years and years. We're actually going to do the co-op this year with my son for the first time, but
Mhm.
we haven't done a co-op in 6 years. Because I didn't want to lose a day of the week to co-op when I
Yeah,
could go and do a really cool field trip that might be coming into town. And like when the Nina and
yeah,
the Pinta come to town, like I don't want to miss the Nina and the Pinta. Like that's why we homeschool. So it definitely becomes down to, but I love Devin's way to narrow it down too. You narrow it down by saying, if it doesn't have anything to do with what we're learning this year, we're just
yeah.
gonna have to say no.
I mean, you can, and my criteria has changed through the years. So I'm
Yeah.
like, just
Well,
find
mine
a
too.
way.
We're doing a co-op this year, so obviously mine changed too. So it
Yeah,
can be flexible, yes.
it's just making what works for your family and having some kind of realizing it's okay to say no. Who would have thought that with socialization and extracurriculars that you sometimes have to learn how to say no?
Yeah, there will be so many options for you. That yeah, you do definitely have to say no. Now when it comes,
We did mock for years, and then when Cole graduated, we decided to say no. So it was okay for me to change what was going on because no one else was interested.
now we do have a little bit sometimes, it's getting the teenagers together. We get a lot of people who come in and go, we need more things for teenagers. The thing with teenagers is when they're little, it's so easy. You just throw them all onto the park and they all become best friends because they're all the same and whatever. Once they hit about middle school, their interests start becoming very defined. You have the kids who want to go play sports. You have the kids that maybe are more gamer kids. You have the kids that are into anime so much. And then you have the kids who aren't into anime at all. So, getting teens together does become a little bit trickier. But one of the things I would definitely encourage is that I hear a lot of people
Consistency.
going, "Oh, we woke up today and he just didn't feel like going. She just didn't feel like going. She just didn't." And it's nervous. Once you hit those teenage years, things start to become a lot less just fun and become a lot more. It's more nervous to go into this group
Yeah.
of people that you don't know. So they might need a little bit more of a push. I know we have some parents who are just like, nope, we signed up. You wanted to do it a week ago. We signed up for it. We're doing it. Or parents who are just like, we're just going to go and give it a try. If you're miserable, we'll leave after 15 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. And the thing
Find
to
your,
remember is making friends is being consistent. So
you
finding
have to show up. You
you
have
have
to
to
show
show
up.
up.
So, and I
It's not
know
going to happen in 1 week. It takes a while.
And I know it's tougher with those teens. I know because they are starting to get their own independent wants and thoughts and abilities and things like that. And so it's much easier for them to tell you, no, I don't want to go do that. No, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not. But if they don't come and they don't try it out,
Yeah.
this is where the friends are made. So definitely try. And again, if it's a child who is just, oh my gosh, so into anime, oh my gosh, that's just their thing. Well, the library offers really cool anime stuff, but maybe you don't want to do it after school. So call the librarian and say, hey, if I get a group of homeschool teens together that are interested in anime, would you be interested? Would you maybe do this program, whatever it was,
Yeah.
for them at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday? And then you can post it again,
They
post
are
it about
usually
Alabama.
very workable.
Yes, they're very, very good about that. They're a great free resource. If you have kids that love to hike, we have some kids that just love to hike. pull together a group and say, hey, we're going to go to Five Rivers and walk the trails. We're going to go to the environmental center and walk the trails. Who wants
Yeah.
to come? Sharon was great about that. Sharon was real good about
Yeah.
pulling together hiking trips where the kids would just get together and go walking.
She was getting together. They were getting together at the park and
Yeah,
doing
go
walking.
to the
So
park. You can do that
my
too.
kids are very much into working out.
Mm.
So, that's something to, just think about what they're interested in.
Yeah.
But make it consistent, whatever it
To
is.
be other kids who are interested. Going to be other kids who are interested in
Yes.
that. It's just a matter of you putting it out there and saying, and you can reach out to me. Reach out to me and say, hey, Erin, I want to do this. I've never done this before. What do I do? And I'll be like, I got you. Oh, I can even help make phone calls. I can direct you to who you need to make phone calls to.
Yeah.
I have people ask me all the time, hey, my child's interested in this. Do you know where this could be done? Oh, let me see what I've got on my roster, of people
Yeah.
I've met over the last few years. So, it does get tougher with teenagers, but usually it's tougher with teenagers because
Yeah.
they start to have their own independent thoughts and they don't want to go do things anymore. So definitely try and,
Yeah.
push them just a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
And just you can always say, Miss Erin said we had to. We had to go out of the house once a week. Or you can say,
Well,
Devin said we had to.
well, and
You can make me the bad guy.
I kind of like the idea of putting in safety points. Just saying, look, we're gonna go, and if you're just miserable after 30 minutes, we'll leave. Or okay, we won't do this one, but here's the list of things that are available.
Hmm.
What are you willing to go do? And once you say yes,
We've got to.
we're committing, and that's an important life lesson in and of itself, that once
Yeah.
you've committed to do something, you've promised somebody that you will be somewhere, that's another
Yeah.
life lesson that comes in, and you're learning it that way, is that you said you'd be there, so we need to show up, you know and or let's try this. And if you try this and you go, then maybe I'll work on setting something up over here that's more of your interest. So there's boundaries and things you can put into place, so you're not just saying you're going to do this because I said so. You know, you can put
Yeah.
it into place so that they have
Yeah.
some leeway in deciding how it plays out.
Okay. So I think that's about all we can do on socialization.
So I think we did. I can't believe we made it to 30 minutes. But if y'all have any questions, as always, just let us know. We are
Just
happy
let
to
us
help.
know.
And we will see you the next time.
Bye, guys.